everyone, welcome to StampPatties.com. Today's project is called A Merry Hello. This is one of the first of my holiday collection for 2021, and it is showcasing a brand new stamp set called Be Jolly that will be available in the August to December mini catalog. So this is what I call a box fold card. So it unfolds and reveals the inside of the card. Let's take a little walkthrough of the supplies you're going to need. I created my card with a crumb cake base. It's a full sheet of paper, 8.5 by 11. Okay, on the 8.5 side, we're going to score at 2 1/8 and 6 3/4. And on the 11-inch side, we're going to score at 2 3/4 and 8 1/4. We're also going to have an early espresso layer for the inside of the card that is 4 by 5 1/4. We've got a very vanilla layer that will layer right on top of that, which is 3 3/4 by 5. I've cut from our Layering Ovals collection a real red oval that is approximately 3.5 by 2.5. I've also cut a piece of real red for my greeting, 5/8 by 2 3/8. And I also have a red circle. So I know our circle punches are retired, but I'm sure that many of you still have them in stock. So I have a 1.5-inch circle. To complement or to layer my oval, I have another oval that is about 3 1/4 by 2 3/8. I have the vanilla greeting that is a 1/2 inch, I believe. Yeah, 1/2 by 2 1/4 for my greeting. I also have a vanilla circle for the inside greeting. And then I have 4 pieces of our gingerbread, peppermint and gingerbread, or gingerbread and peppermint designer paper. There are 2 pieces that are 1 7/8 by 2 5/8 and 2 pieces that are 2 by 2 1/4. Have no fear, because this will be part of the blog post, this photo, so you'll have all the dimensions. So we're going to go ahead and get started, and we're going to start by scoring our card base. So I'm going to get this out of the way, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to score on the 8.5 inch side. We're going to score at 2 1/8. And I'm going to flip it and do 2 1/8 on the other side, just to make things nice and even. And then on the 11-inch side, I'm going to be going in 2 3/4 and 2 3/4 on the other side. So what you're going to find is that it looks like a standard size card in the middle. And what we're going to do is we are going to cut these 4 corners off of our paper. Okay, so now that we have those corners clipped out, I want you to see what it looks like. So I cut out the 4 corners, okay? So our card will ultimately fold kind of like a box, and so then this piece will get tucked in. So when you're looking at that card front, in case you're wondering, so now the other thing that I'm going to recommend that you do is that you use one of our bone folders before you go folding this card, and really burnish the inside, or burnish the seams, the scored lines of this card. Burnish it really well so that you'll be able to fold it. It will tuck nicely. So I start from the top, then I go to the left, then I go to the bottom, and then I can tuck this under so that my card lays nice and flat. And I'll do one more burnishing of all of those seams. Okay, so now when you're looking at this card, if you take your 4 pieces of designer series paper, you should see that it fits very nicely, because there's 2 different dimensions. And I'm going to say, let's go ahead and glue those on while the card is closed. So I'm using our Tombow liquid glue, because that is my favorite. It gives me a little bit of an opportunity to kind of move it around a little bit while it's still wet. But once it dries, it is dry and that is not going to go anywhere. Keep in mind, you only need a little bit. Don't get crazy. Okay, one more. And then the outside of our card will be done. Okay. Perfect. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and pop this card back open. And the other piece that I want to kind of get out of my way is my inside layer that I'm not stamping on. So this is going to be my early espresso, which is 4 by 5 1/4. And that is going to fit very nicely on the inside of our card with about a 1/4 inch border all the way around. Okay, so that's how we're shaping up here. So now we're going to actually do a little bit of stamping. So I am going to be using our Memento, our Tuxedo Black Memento ink, and I'm going to create the center of my card as well as my greetings. I'm going to move this ink out of the way, as well as my greetings and the very front, the focal point of our card. So I'm going to need all of my vanilla pieces in order to accomplish that, and my Be Jolly stamp set. So I am going to start with my Santa, who is going to get stamped onto the oval. If I can find my block, hold on. Okay, we're going to ink him up really good. And we're going to put him right on our oval. There he is. Yay, Santa. Okay, now I am going to create my inside. So I'm going to put the sleigh with the packages. And I'm going to put that over to this bottom corner here. Perfect. And we're going to put our Christmas tree. That's good. I'm happy with that. Okay. Let's see. We've got our Be Jolly. And our Be Jolly is going to go on our little 1 3/8 inch circle. It does fit, so don't worry about that. And then our Merry Hello is going to go on this 1/2 inch piece of vanilla. Oop, there we go. Perfect. So I'm going to set my stamp set aside because I am done with stamping at this point. Close up my ink pad. Oh, I forgot the star. The Christmas tree has to have a star, doesn't it? Okay, so let's ink that up. Let's see how I want that. Okay, so we got to ink that up, and I'm gonna, yay, I'm happy with that too. Okay, so let's close up the ink pad, and let's start some assembling here. So I'm going to get my other greeting piece out, my backing, my red. I'm going to glue this greeting onto that. I'm going to get this greeting and glue it onto here. Perfect. This is going to get popped up right here. I'm going to use all of my blend markers to do some coloring, which I won't bore you with because the whole purpose of this card. So as you can see, I got lots of blends. So I'm going to go ahead and color. And so just to give you an idea, I used did I use jade? Or did I use, I think I used the jade on this one, the dark and the light jade. I used the real red. I used the dark daffodil. Over here I used old olive and real red. I used a little bit of the suede and then the light crumb cake, some light smoky slate. I used the olive and red combination here, used a little bit of seafoam here. And then on my cover, so I just want to show you how we're going to go ahead and put this together. So once this is all colored, such as this one, we're going to, again, close the card, top down, then left, then right, and then we tuck it under. Okay, tuck it under. So if you look at my project, you're going to see that I have dimensionals, okay? And the dimensionals are only on the far left-hand side of this Merry Hello, as well as a couple, and you only want to adhere your oval. You only want to adhere your oval to this top piece of designer paper. So you want to make sure that your dimensionals do not go beyond that piece of paper, because then it's going to help you to use that as a tuck. So I hope that you have enjoyed this how-to video. Finish your Santa off however you'd like. I use the shimmery crystal effects. It does take a little while to dry. And I used it on the pom-pom, on the brim of his hat, as well as on his cuffs and the bottom of his jacket. You could also use Wink of Stella. If you still have some dazzling diamonds hanging around, by all means, feel free to use that as well. Thank you for visiting, and if you are not a subscriber, down in the bottom right-hand corner, left-hand corner, you should see a subscribe. Make sure that you click on that and click on notifications so that you'll be notified every time that I create a video. Until then, stamp in your flops, stamp in whatever makes you happy, but keep stamping. Until next time, bye-bye.